Tonight on CTV News.
You don't see an assistant commissioner in the RCMP charged criminally every day.
A top Mountie charged with multiple counts of assault, including choking while off duty. Also tonight.
This is a whale that we know quite well, actually. This whale is called Midnight.
A humpback whale found dead after being hit by a BC ferry. The latest on the investigation now underway. And
we need our parking, and this is something that's really serious to us.
Bus lane pushback. Why some Burnaby business owners want plans for a rapid bus route on Hastings halted.
This is CTV News with Nafisa Kareem.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. Mi Jung is off tonight. One of the RCMP's highest-ranking officers has found himself in legal trouble. Assistant Commissioner David Taboul, the top federal Mountie in BC, has been charged with 3 counts of assault, one of them by choking. CTV's Ben Nesbitt has more from RCMP headquarters in Surrey.
The BC Prosecution Service says the allegations stem from an off-duty incident on July 2nd in Abbotsford. Assistant Commissioner David Taboul is charged with 1 count of assault and assault by choking against one person and the assault of a second individual.
Hello. My name is David Taboul.
According to the RCMP's website, Taboul became a member in 1997, working his way up through the ranks, leading the force's anti-corruption unit and national security counter-terrorism program. Since 2024, he's been the federal policing commander for the Pacific region, making him the highest-ranking federal officer in BC and Yukon. He currently works out of here at the BC RCMP headquarters and is being the public face, providing updates on major cases in the province, including the murder of Sikh activist Hardeep Singh Nijjar and the takedown of a major drug lab.
I think it's time for our justice system to catch up to the reality of the danger of these drugs.
In a statement to CTV News, the BC RCMP said in part, a code of conduct investigation was initiated and remains ongoing. Assistant Commissioner Taboul has been temporarily reassigned and his duty status is subject to continuous review and assessment.
The fact that they're letting him keep doing a job of some sort kind of speaks to the fact that he probably, if convicted, wouldn't be looking at any serious penalties. But who knows? I mean, that could change on a dime in any trial process.
The BCPS has appointed senior Vancouver lawyer Andy McKay as a special prosecutor on the case, a decision the service says was made to avoid any potential for real or perceived improper influence in the administration of justice based on Taboul's role as a senior officer. The charges against Taboul have not been tested in court. His first appearance is scheduled for October 9th in Abbotsford. Ben Nesbitt, CTV News, Surrey.
A humpback whale has been found dead after a collision with a BC ferry off the province's north coast. And a warning, some viewers may find some of the video in this story hard to watch. CTV's Kevin Chirac is following this in the Breaking News Center.
Nafisa, a BC Ferries rep said the crew of the Northern Expedition reported hitting a whale on Wednesday in Wright Sound near Prince Rupert. You can see the motionless mammal being towed to shore. BC Ferries says it immediately reported the collision to federal authorities, local First Nations, and researchers, who then found a dead whale in the vicinity around 10:30 a.m. Thursday. The Northern Expedition is used to service BC Ferries' northern routes, including between Prince Rupert and Port Hardy.
Be more in place to prevent these accidents from occurring. You know, where this strike occurred in Wright Sound is a known heavily occupied habitat for humpbacks and fin whales, especially during the summer and fall months. And, you know, even things like slowing large vessels down as they come into these waters at those times of year could really help to prevent vessel strikes.
She says humpbacks are returning to BC coastal waters in bigger numbers lately. BC Ferries says Fisheries and Oceans Canada will be conducting a necropsy to determine the cause of death. Nafisa.
Thank you, Kevin. The federal Liberals are taking aim at hate crimes by introducing a new bill that creates 4 new hate-related criminal offenses. And as CTV's Martin McMahon reports, while some are welcoming it, others feel it goes too far.
From vandalism at synagogues across the country to Vancouver being described as the anti-Asian hate capital of the world, the pressure had been building for the feds to do something. And now, the Liberal government tabling a bill that would introduce 4 new hate crime offenses.
Sadly, there is no community that is immune from hate in this country. There are violent attacks against Black Canadians, rising anti-Asian hate. We see gurdwaras and mandirs vandalized, and the LGBTQ2+ community threatened with and suffering violence.
The legislation would outlaw the promotion of hateful symbols, including the Nazi swastika. There would also be new protections for religious institutions. Vancouver's Jewish community is among those welcoming this.
I think it's progress. I think we're moving in the right direction on this, and it should feel pretty good for communities that have been vulnerable.
But others have concerns about how it would be implemented.
The application of it is going to be really important to make sure that the right balance is struck between, making sure that Canadians still have, the basic ability to express themselves, and we're maintaining civil liberties.
I think it's clear that this bill is really targeted at a particular type of expression, which is in support of Palestine, and is part of a larger pattern that we see across Canada of governments targeting this particular type of expression.
But laws don't always result in prosecution. Last year, Vancouver police arrested Charlotte Cates, the leader of listed terror organization Samidoun Palestinian Prisoner Solidarity Network. Nearly a year and a half later, no movement from BC prosecutors on those recommended charges of willful promotion of hatred and public incitement of hatred. Martin McMahon, CTV News, Vancouver.
Also tonight, barred from dropping bars at the Vogue. Irish rap group Kneecap is denied entry into Canada for its alleged support of terrorist organizations. The public safety concerns and the band's backlash. That's later on CTV News at 6. An investigation is underway after shots were fired at yet another business in Surrey. Police were called to the 10800 block of 125th Street around 8:30 this morning, where they found a number of bullet holes in the back of a business. No injuries were reported. The motive is still under investigation, but it comes as police and city officials ramp up their efforts to deal with extortion attempts targeting South Asian businesses and residents. It has been nearly 2 years since Vancouver Mayor Ken Sim and his majority on council voted to abolish the elected Vancouver Park Board. The Premier initially agreed to make the necessary changes to the city's charter, but no action has been taken. As CTV's Ben Milger reports, the door may still be open to letting voters decide.
Tens of thousands of people cast ballots to elect these park board commissioners. In a controversial move in December 2023, the ABC majority on council cast 8 votes to abolish their roles.
I think this is about really delivering the best possible parks and recreation facilities that we can for all the residents in the city.
To abolish the board, the city needs the province to change the Vancouver charter. The Premier initially agreed to do that, but so far hasn't followed through.
I certainly think that it's important for residents to have a say on major issues in their community, and we've been hearing that from residents in Vancouver.
With the next municipal election just over a year away, voters may yet have a chance to weigh in.
That would be a logical approach, I think, given it's the timing of the election, given the controversy.
For some, it need not be a formal referendum question on the ballot. They would just like to see a fulsome debate on the future of a board that has been a democratically elected institution in Vancouver for 135 years.
We're going to see it as an election issue. We're going to see candidates having to declare whether this is something that they would support or not support in the election. And I think that the electorate will have a voice in it that way.
ABC says it would still like the province to follow through with the changes prior to the election.
Voters did not get the chance to weigh in during the last municipal election. Why not send it to them?
I think we've heard from the public loud and clear. I think any public opinion polls that you do, the majority of folks really do see that there's a lot of efficiencies that can be gained.
Ultimately, the decision now lies with the provincial government, and it doesn't seem like it's been made yet.
We're having discussions among our team to figure out our next step. I think we're getting close, and we'll be able to say something more soon.
Municipal voters go to the polls in October of next year. Ben Milger, CTV News, Vancouver.
A leading public health expert in BC says he'd like the principle of harm reduction applied to smoking. He believes vaping is an alternative to the harmful effects of cigarettes. But as CTV's Isabella Zavarisi reports, new guidelines say otherwise.
Inhaling the leaves of this plant kills millions worldwide, yet 3.5 million Canadians smoke.
I talk about smoking tobacco as being equivalent to inhaling battery acid.
Alternatives to wean people off smoking exist. Some are widely accepted: nicotine patches and counseling. Others, including vaping, are more controversial.
It makes no sense to me. Vaping is sort of like nicotine replacement therapy, only we're giving people it in a way that they like more.
Dr. Mark Tyndall was on the front lines of the HIV/AIDS pandemic and BC's toxic drug crisis, where harm reduction measures have helped save thousands of lives. Citing his research, he says the same approach should be applied to smoking.
We know that if people quit smoking, again, their health improves, and any way we can do that, we should be encouraging people to use safer nicotine.
He believes vaping is a better option, but recent guidelines from a Canadian medical journal say otherwise.
We have better methods to get you to try to quit smoking other than electronic cigarettes, because electronic cigarettes are potentially dangerous.
Tyndall acknowledges his views aren't popular.
To me, vaping is like the quintessential harm reduction intervention.
If it helps people to quit smoking, it might provide some level of harm reduction. But there are a whole bunch of unknowns about those vaping products that make us very reluctant to basically recommend this as a method of quitting smoking.
While both experts may disagree on alternatives, one thing they are adamant on is that quitting smoking improves health outcomes dramatically. Isabella Zavarisi, CTV News, Vancouver.
The federal government has announced more funding is coming to try to keep up with the demand for affordable housing in Canada.
This top-up is obviously critical for provincial, territorial, and regional partners who are on the front lines of housing, and gives them the certainty and the resources needed to keep projects moving.
Ottawa is adding $1.5 billion in loans to the Affordable Housing Fund. The feds are also pulling forward $385 million from future years to the Rapid Housing Substream. Ottawa says the top-up will support the creation of more than 5,000 new units. TransLink is proposing a new rapid bus line through the Heights neighborhood in Burnaby along Hastings to Willingdon. It would include dedicated bus lanes, more frequent service, and no more street parking. But as CTV's Yasmin Gandam reports, many are against the plan, saying it would destroy the neighborhood's distinct character.
The neighborhood of Burnaby Heights is filled with coffee shops, restaurants, and grocery stores. But some people who live here are concerned a new transit route could ruin that.
It is a village, it's a community. It is so different than other parts of Vancouver and the Lower Mainland.
The two routes will either run through Hastings Street and Willingdon Avenue or through Boundary Road and Lougheed Highway, depending on public feedback. The Boundary Lougheed option is what most locals and business owners are hoping for.
Merchants have already told me that their leases are coming up and they're seriously reconsidering relocating if the BRT comes through because they know their clientele and where they live.
Gabriel Hasselback is the director of the Burnaby Heights Residents Association. He and dozens of others say the route would remove all parking, hurting the neighborhood.
People need this area for kids, bikes, seniors, because there's all kinds of medical buildings along here and life labs and all kinds of stuff. So we need our parking, and this is something that's really serious to us.
The group has now organized a petition to rally against the first option, saying not only will it impact accessibility, but the distinct community.
But it's parking that makes this area livable. You can park and then walk up and down.
It's been decades of trying to preserve the Heights as a family community with so much of us operating like a little village. We're so proud of that.
TransLink says the proposed stops are aimed at improving travel between the North Shore, North Burnaby and Metrotown. It comes after transit advocacy group Movement held a protest last weekend, pushing for the Hastings route.
This is not a nice place to be. We want transit riders to be in a much more comfortable, relaxing environment on Hastings.
The project won't break ground for years, but TransLink is taking public feedback until Sunday. Yasmin Gandham, CTV News, Burnaby.
A 9-month battle to save 400 ostriches at a farm in the interior could come to an end this weekend. The owners of Universal Ostrich Farm in Edgewood say they have received notice the culling of their birds could begin over the next few days. The farm appealed an order by the Canadian Food Inspection Agency for a mass cull after an avian flu outbreak in December. The case has attracted international attention and drawn protesters from across BC. Still ahead, a warning about wolves at a popular BC beach destination. Plus,
we need purpose-built galleries where we can present the most exciting contemporary art.
Shovels went into the ground and millions were spent on a new art gallery plan that had to be scrapped. So what's plan B? That's when CTV News continues. Stay with us.
Hi, Carrie here. You notice we have a new look in the morning on CTV, but it's the same great show. It includes a new name, an enhanced screen, bringing you updates on weather and news headlines. We invite you to join us on your morning, Vancouver.
It's been nearly a year since plans were scrapped for a new Vancouver art gallery. Now the CEOs are getting ready to announce their next move. After losing millions on the last project, they admit lessons have been learned. CTV's St. Alexander sat down with the CEOs and has an update for the future of the Vancouver Art Gallery.
$64 million. That's how much was spent over 15 years and ultimately lost on a lofty project that proved too expensive, too big for the city, and was suddenly scrapped.
Art is for everyone.
The interim CEOs who joined the team only recently, long after ceremonial shovels hit the ground, say some of that money was used to prepare soil for construction. But otherwise, yes, it's gone.
That is a big pill to swallow.
Now tasked with building an entirely different gallery with the public watching and very little room for error, a rigorous search for an architect has been narrowed to a Canadian. Whoever is chosen will be given a clear mandate.
We need classrooms. We need purpose-built galleries where we can present the most exciting contemporary art while also having intimate spaces for historical art. We need gathering spaces. We don't have a lecture hall. We don't have a place where we can screen films or invite writers and artists to come and be in conversation with one another.
Using city land for the project remains the same because it's free. So suggestions to use the Old Bay building or Nordstrom are intriguing, they say, but don't make sense.
The bay is not free. One would have to purchase the bay, and then renovations are often more expensive than custom built.
Once the architect is chosen, artists, business owners, real estate agents, First Nations, and the public will be asked what they would like to see in a new gallery.
We do not see the model necessarily being about square footage. It is about how it welcomes public, how it draws, is a tourism magnet, how it is a place for different disciplines. So somewhere between a gathering place and a museum.
There is money in the bank for the new build, potentially $300 million. Some of it cash, some donations, and some promises of future contributions. While there is no date at all when the gallery might finally see its new home, they insist.
The future of the Vancouver Art Gallery is still on track.
St. Alexander, CTV News, Vancouver.
Anyone planning to visit Tofino this weekend will need to be extra cautious due to a wolf warning. Parks Canada issued the warning after a recent uptick in wolf sightings in and around the Long Beach area of Pacific Rim National Park. Hikers and beachgoers are advised to travel in groups and stay alert for signs of wolf activity. Anyone who encounters a wolf is urged to slowly back away, make lots of noise, and maintain eye contact as you leave. Warnings will remain in place at Long Beach until further notice. It's the last weekend of the summer, Anne.
I know, it's here. Yes, fall is just around the corner, and what a great way to say goodbye to summer. A beautiful day today. Here's a look at temperatures across the lower mainland right now. 20 degrees at the harbor, 22 in Burnaby, as well as in Pitt Meadows. You're looking at 23 degrees right now in Chilliwack, and 22 in Abbotsford, 24 in Surrey. As we head through the overnight, clear skies dropping down to 12. We will see patchy fog develop through the overnight hours into tomorrow morning. We'll start off sunny, but slowly it will cloud over, highs to 21 degrees.
CTV weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises. Explore the endless possibilities at one of our 36 BC locations. Learn more at expediacruises.ca.
And the rain does return Saturday night into Sunday morning, and that's it. More sunshine on the way. Those details coming up.
All right, thank you, Anne. Well, after the break, what Donald Trump is saying about a possible deal with China to keep TikTok going in the U.S. But first, they were supposed to play 4 shows in Canada, including 2 here in Vancouver, but not anymore. Why an Irish rap group called Kneecap has been barred from entering the country. Plus, open again 6 years after being ravaged by fire. We'll take you to the top of the iconic bell towers of Notre-Dame Cathedral. To Paris now, where the bell towers of Notre-Dame Cathedral are once again open to visitors 6 years after fire devastated the beloved landmark. French President Emmanuel Macron marked the reopening today, calling it one of the final steps in the massive reconstruction project. Visitors will have to climb 424 steps to the top to enjoy sweeping views of the city. The milestone comes ahead of European Heritage Days this weekend, giving the public a rare chance to explore historic buildings and monuments. An Irish rap group that was set to play 2 shows in Vancouver next month is speaking out after Canada barred them from entering the country. The government claims the group publicly supports terrorist groups, while the band says it is planning legal action. CTV's Alison Hurst explains.
Free, free, Palestine! The Irish rap group Kneecap, known for its politically charged performances, is barred from entering Canada.
Political debate and free speech are vital to our democracy, but open endorsements of terrorist groups are not free speech.
The group has 4 shows scheduled in Canada next month, 2 in Toronto and 2 in Vancouver. Kneecap has been accused of amplifying political violence and has faced outrage over seeming public support for terrorist organizations such as Hezbollah and Hamas. In February, the group shared this photo of a member reading a book written by a Hezbollah leader.
This message is that hate will not be tolerated, not in our streets, not on our campuses, and not on stage.
The band had to cancel its U.S. tour earlier this year after a member of the group was charged with a terrorist offense in the UK. Those charges came after videos emerged appearing to show 27-year-old Mo Chara wearing a Hezbollah flag over his head.
We've seen hate crimes go up by 50% across the country over the last few years. We have seen unspeakable demonization across our city in protests and in mobs, and we must do everything we can to keep our city safe.
Kneecap was swift to respond to the Canadian government, posting in part, "Your comments about us are wholly untrue and deeply malicious. No member of Kneecap has been convicted of any crime in any country ever. We have today instructed our lawyers to initiate legal action against you." Fans are sharing their disappointment. To them, the band wrote in part, "It is our view that when the government realized there was no legal basis on which to stop us, they today, via Vince Gasparo, sought to maliciously misrepresent Kneecap. We have played in Canada many times with 0 issues. We are sorry we cannot be with you next month."
I am outraged, honestly. Some people are not surprised. I am surprised because I never thought that I'd find myself living in Canada where the Canadian government would ban an Irish music group from entering the country just for speaking up against a genocide.
Canada is not the first country to do this. Hungary also barred the group earlier this summer, saying the musicians' presence in the country would constitute a risk to national security. Alison Hurst, CTV News.
A TikTok deal could be made official following the latest talks between U.S. President Donald Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping this morning. This comes amid controversy over censorship after Disney pulled Jimmy Kimmel off the air, prompting a response from other late-night hosts. NBC's Melanie Zanona has the details.
Still no luck on a deal for TikTok. After a call with the Chinese president, President Trump saying today that progress was made and that he appreciates the TikTok approval, but stopped short of announcing any kind of finalized deal. On Tuesday, the president giving TikTok a reprieve, allowing to operate in the United States until December, the latest of several extensions while trying to find an American owner. The ultimate fate of the popular app that gives millions a voice comes amid debate over free speech. And as the controversy over late-night host Jimmy Kimmel's suspension ripples across the country, the president suggesting media that he says are against him could lose their licenses.
They give me only bad publicity or press. I mean, they're getting a license. I would think maybe their license should be taken away.
Kimmel was suspended indefinitely over these comments he made on Monday.
The MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
Kimmel supporters calling out ABC's parent company Disney, claiming the company caved to political pressure from the Trump administration.
The issue that arose here where lots and lots of people were upset was not a joke. It was not, making fun or pillaring me or the administration or the president. It was appearing to directly mislead the American public about a significant fact.
Kimmel's late-night competition standing up for him.
I don't know what's going on. And no one does, but I do know Jimmy Kimmel, and he's a decent, funny, and loving guy, and I hope he comes back.
After the break, what has 4 legs and is a very good boy? Well, we'll introduce you to one of BC's newest search and rescue volunteers. Plus, speaking of rescues, this was a big one because the subject was a moose that fell into an old well. We'll show you how they got him out. Stay with us.
Your morning just got a little brighter. Start your day with CTV Your Morning, and you could win $20,000. For your chance to win, watch CTV Your Morning Vancouver, weekday mornings 6 to 9.
A moose had to be rescued from an old well after a teenager working in his family's shed heard a noise in the bushes. That's when he saw antlers and found the moose inside the 8-foot well. Game wardens and a wildlife biologist came to help, and they were able to lift that moose out after around 5 hours. The moose was then able to head back into the woods safely. Phew. Volunteers rolled up their sleeves today, planting native trees and shrubs in Coquitlam's Addington Point Marsh to help restore critical habitat for fish and other wildlife.
Invasive plants are definitely one of the bigger issues that we face in conservation, and finding hands-off way of managing them is always really important. Getting some good native shrubs and trees back in the ground, it's just really good for the entire environment, that being migrating birds, local animals, and just, the ecosystem in general.
The marsh is home to Pacific salmon, great blue herons, and other species. Organizers say restoring wetlands not only protects wildlife, but also reduces flood risks and improves water quality as the Tri-Cities continue to grow. A new face is being welcomed at Nanaimo Search and Rescue this week, and he might just be the team's cutest member. Say hello to Benelli, an 18-month-old Labrador Retriever with a strong sense of smell and the need to help. Benelli and his handler just recently passed their wilderness search validation with the RCMP Police Dog Service, marking the start of his career with Nanaimo Search and Rescue Canine Unit. He's the 3rd dog on the squad and ready to make his team proud. What a good boy. Canada's women's rugby team made history today, advancing to the World Cup finals.
Pelche snipes through, pops it up to the goodie! The goodie! Between the posts!
Canada defeated the 2-time defending champions New Zealand 34-19 in the semifinals this afternoon in England. It's just the 2nd time ever Canada's women's team has made the finals, the first being in 2014. Canada will play the winner of the 2nd semifinal between France and England.
Rodriguez, clear of De Silva, what a save!
It's going to be an all-Vancouver Canadian Championship final on October 1st at BC Place. Vancouver FC of the Canadian Premier League will face the Vancouver Whitecaps for the Voyageurs Cup. The Whitecaps will be the heavy favorites to win their 4th straight Canadian Championship, while the underdog VFC will attempt to become the first CPL team to lift the trophy. Well, still ahead, his story went viral. A tiny donkey in Ontario looking for love. Well, he got an answer. That story's coming up. Plus,
it'll be 35,000 kilometers between walking across Canada, biking across Canada, and now running across Canada.
So why is this fellow in yellow going from coast to coast over and over again? And why yellow? Find out as CTV News at 6 continues. Taking a look at today's markets, the Canadian dollar traded for 72 cents to the U.S. dollar. Oil down nearly $1, closing the day at $62.40 U.S. a barrel. Gold gained more than $27 on the day. The TSX and the Dow Jones both ended the day higher. TSX up 314 points, while the Dow was up 172. People in BC who have been impacted by U.S. tariffs can expect to get some extra support from the provincial and federal governments. Originally focused on forestry, the Build Your Own Future program is being expanded to support workers across all industries affected by U.S. tariffs. The program offers 5-day business boot camps meant to help displaced workers transition to become entrepreneurs. People who complete the program are eligible for a $5,000 grant to help cover startup costs. A barnyard bachelor in Ontario is officially off the market. After weeks of searching, Hank the miniature donkey has finally found his perfect match.
The Princess Buttercup.
Meet Buttercup, the 7-year-old donkey who has stolen Hank's heart. She arrived at Erin Hill Acres Farm earlier this week, and she's already made herself right at home. It's a match that staff say was well worth the wait.
One of my girlfriends actually texted me and said, have you seen this donkey on the TV and looking for love? And I said no. And she sent it over to me, and everything started from there.
We got inquiries basically across Canada, if not globally.
You could say it was love at first sight, or maybe love at first bite. The pair is still in the courting phase of their relationship and will spend some time apart before they're put in the same pasture. It's a happy ending for Hank.
I love that. Princess Buttercup, right out of a fairy tale. Yes, adorable. All right, let's take a look at our forecast as we head into the last weekend of summer. We do have a change coming, all thanks to this low pressure system offshore, already bringing in wet weather for the north coast and Haida Gwaii as well as the central coast, and it is going to come down to us as well as we head into tomorrow night. So here's how everything will play out on our weather tracker right now. We're seeing mostly sunny skies. That's how we'll start off the early morning tomorrow, and then in the afternoon, clouds roll in. We won't see rain until tomorrow night. It will be heavy at times through the overnight in yellow and oranges, and it'll continue into early Sunday morning before it slowly clears out of the way. So here's a look at what we can expect on our rain tracker. About 21 millimeters for Abbotsford, 25 for Pitt Meadows on the high side, 37 millimeters of rain for Vancouver and North Vancouver, and 44 for Squamish before it all clears out of the way. Tomorrow, beautiful, bright and sunny once again for the southern interior. Your provincial forecast at the bottom of your screen. Periods of rain for Port Hardy, Campbell River, and Comox. Temperatures between 16 and 18 degrees. You'll see showers for Tofino. Soggy for Port Alberni. Early morning sun for Nanaimo before the rain returns. You'll see a mix of sun and cloud for the southern Gulf Islands and Victoria. Temperatures between 19 and 20 degrees. Mostly cloudy skies to start off the day. Showers in the afternoon. Rain in the evening for the Sunshine Coast. It'll stay dry tomorrow for the Sea to Sky Highway. 19 for Whistler. 21 for Squamish with some sunny breaks in there. And for us across the lower mainland, we'll see mostly cloudy skies as we head through the afternoon. Temperatures between 20 and 21. Rain in the evening through the overnight to early sunny morning before it clears out of the way. We'll say hello to fall on Monday under a mix of sun and cloud at 11:19 in the morning. Lots of sunshine back again for Tuesday and Wednesday. Temperatures between 20 and 21 degrees. Clouding over for Thursday. And then on Friday, we'll see mostly cloudy skies with a few showers and a high of 18. CTV weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises for air, land, and sea vacations. Well, the BC Children's Hospital is devoted exclusively to children, support research breakthroughs that lead the way to confronting health challenges facing kids today, from cancer to heart disease and brain health. Funded in part by your generosity through the BC Children's Hospital Dream Lottery. Check out these fall bonus prizes worth $115,000. Choose a Ford Bronco Sport or $55,000 luxury travel adventure, or choose $50,000 cash. 12 more winners will receive $5,000 in travel or groceries. Fall bonus deadline is midnight tonight. Good luck to everyone. Great prizes, all for a great cause, Nafisa.
It is a great cause, and I'm just thinking about how I'm going to soak up all of the sun I can this weekend, because it's the last weekend of summer.
You'll be on the patio, I know it.
Yeah, that's right. You know me too well. Thanks, Anne.
You're welcome.
Well, nearly losing his leg as a teenager could have ended his run, but instead, it fueled one. Now a Halifax man is running across the country in an effort to prove nothing can slow him down and to inspire others to keep on moving. CTV's Kevin Green has his story.
Dressed head to toe in yellow, Trevor Redmond is easy to spot on the shoulder of the Trans-Canada Highway. The Halifax native who lived in Calgary for 25 years calls his journey a run for courage.
I want people, Canadians, to encourage us to get out, get healthy, and of course have the courage to go do that yourself.
Redmond was just 15 when he was struck by a car and nearly lost his leg. Multiple surgeries saved it, and he says that healthcare investment drives his mission.
I know the cost of healthcare, and it's a lot. That investment that was made in me produced, well, coming up today, it'll be 35,000 kilometers between walking across Canada, biking across Canada, and now running across Canada.
The 54-year-old started his run in Halifax last March, traveling through Newfoundland and Labrador, Ontario, and the prairies, and now into Alberta. Along the way, he's faced injuries, harsh weather, and long stretches with nothing but the open road.
Discipline is the line between doing too much and doing too little. So you really do have to keep discipline in every matter of the thing, especially doing this solo.
Dubbed the fellow in yellow, Redmond says he wears the bright color for safety, but also to symbolize motion, action, and health.
The more we move, the more we move others. And there's this old saying, actions speak louder than words. If actions speak louder than words, then I must be screaming, you know, for the amount of kilometers and the amount of movement that I'm doing.
He hopes people who stop to talk will take away a simple message to value their health and take the first step toward caring for themselves.
I want to give an example of how to exercise your minds, your bodies, and your spirit. And if you appreciate your health and appreciate the health of others, then we create a really healthy nation.
Kevin Green, CTV News, east of Strathmore.
Well, ahoy, mateys. It's International Talk Like a Pirate Day, and we've got the perfect way to celebrate coming up in our Friday Feel-Good segment. Plus, Love Train. Adam finds out what's been built in the backyard beyond this locomotive-inspired door. Next on the Sawatsky sign-off. Right now, here's a preview of Your Morning Vancouver.
Are you getting the Canadian product you think you're paying for at the grocery store? Monday on Your Morning Vancouver, more on concerns over maple washing and how delivery apps are changing how we eat. And the push to keep girls in sports, the benefits of playing into adulthood, and how parents and teachers can help keep the game going. We'll see you in the morning.
Chirac is dancing next to me. Taylor Swift is heading back to the big screen, but not with a traditional movie. Swift is rolling out an 89-minute release party on October 3rd to coincide with the release of her new album, The Life of a Showgirl. Catchy tune. The NHL and Matthew Perry Foundation are teaming up to make every goal count this preseason. As part of the Goals for Recovery initiative, the NHL will donate $50 for every preseason goal scored to the Matthew Perry Foundation. The money will support addiction recovery, prevention, and advocacy efforts across North America. The foundation was created in the wake of Perry's death in October 2023. And here we all are. We made it to Friday. I know you're dancing.
All right, yeah.
We've got a reason for you guys to dance because it's time for Friday Feel Goods, a weekly roundup of unique events happening in Metro Vancouver. And here are 3 things worth checking out. Tomorrow will be a possum day for pups at Dude Chilling Park in the heart of Mount Pleasant. Dog Day at the Dude will take over the park from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. There will be a fenced-off area where dogs can be off-leash, along with several canine contests. Prizes will be handed out to the top dogs in the following categories: Best Tricks in 30 Seconds, Highest Jump, Best Talker, and Best 80s-themed costume.
Ooh, I'm going. Richmond, the 4th annual Big Pirate Run returns to Garry Point Park this Sunday. The family-friendly event invites runners and walkers of all ages, even strollers and leash dogs, to join in on the fun. Participants can choose between a 5K, 10K, or half marathon, and encouraged to dress in costume. Arr.
I would totally run a half marathon dressed as a pirate, and I join your crew. You did a great pirate voice there.
All right, let's do it.
I love it. Arr.
I don't know how I'm going to follow that. Fall officially begins on Monday, and Man Farms in Abbotsford is marking the season in a big, big way. Fall at the Farm features a unique pumpkin patch set in a forest, a 10-foot tall pumpkin house, and more than a dozen photo opportunities. Families can also get lost in one of 3 different corn mazes, meet some furry friends like mini horses and Highland cows, and explore the farm's new dinosaur den.
I know what you're doing.
Oh, yeah, going to Man Farms after I run a race.
Well, if you have any events you'd like us to highlight, you can email your tips to ctvfeelgoods@ctv.ca. And just before we get to the Sawatsky sign-off, what do you have cooking for the Late Show tonight?
And I noticed the pumpkin theme, by the way.
Very nice.
Well, Nafisa, the mayor of Langford is calling out his city's pro soccer team, Pacific FC. He claims the team owes the city hundreds of thousands of dollars. We'll hear from the mayor and the team. Plus, remember Enzo, the pit bull that was seized after allegedly biting a contractor and spent more than a year at the Langley Animal Prevention Society? Well, we've reported on his owner's fight to get him released, and Enzo has returned home. Details on his release and all your late-breaking news at 11:30.
Sounds good. Thank you, Kevin.
Bet.
Well, finally, Adam introduces us to a Langford couple who has spent years transforming their backyard into a miniature railway. The train track circles around their garden, carrying decades of memories on tonight's Sawatsky sign-off.
Before he invites you through this locomotive-shaped door,
look in this window up here.
Lanny Seaton suggests you look for the train's engineer.
Well, they see themselves because it's a mirror.
Although what's been built in the backyard behind it
Started off smaller and then it got bigger.
is a reflection of Lanny's life.
Brings back memories of when I was a kid.
The train begins its journey in a recreation of Lanny's hometown, passing the place he got his first haircuts, the store his parents bought their weekly groceries, and the Bob's Burger drive-in he went on dates as a teenager with Diana.
When he looked at me, he had a twinkle in his eye.
And the first time he saw her, Lanny says, he was smitten.
And she had hair down to the back of her hips, and I thought, wow, this is cool.
Lanny and Diana ended up getting married and starting a family together before the kids grew up to help their parents build all this by hand.
So it's been a labor of love for the last 5 or 6 years.
Countless hours to construct what's become a journey of love.
Well, up on the hill up there,
That's where you'll find a tribute to the relatives who lived here before them, who worked hard to make their family's life better and their communities stronger.
People didn't really have to ask for help because it was offered.
Which inspired Lanny and Diana to always give back.
That's the first fire truck that I ever drove.
Lanny volunteered as a firefighter and served on municipal council, while Diana donated her time to dozens of community groups.
Celebration of community pride and spirit.
And now, more than 60 years after getting burgers at Bob's together, Lanny and Diana are going on dates in their backyard together.
It's fun. We sit out at night and listen to the trains go.
And feel grateful for the journey that's allowed them to build this life together.
Wonderful. Just warm, very beautiful.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Langford.
Okay, that train looks great. We should get him over to Stanley Park.
Yes.
And they can get the miniature railway fixed,
anyone
right?
can fix it, it's that guy.
Yeah.
For sure.
Beautiful, though.
So gorgeous. Another gorgeous thing tonight to finish off summer. A beautiful day at Mackenzie Beach in Tofino. Look at that. Thanks, Laura, for sending this one in. And we want to see your scenic snapshot as well. So email us at scenicsnapshot@ctv.ca. Yeah, hit the beaches this weekend, except for Saturday night into early Sunday morning when the rain happens.
Okay, yeah, we'll keep an umbrella in our bag for when we go out patio sitting Saturday. CTV News continues online anytime. Visit ctvnewsvancouver.ca. And thank you so much for sharing part of your evening with us. Let's stay up late at 11:30 and catch Kevin. See ya.
See you later.